In Texas, Republicans once again are trying to target the larger blue cities in the state. House Bill 2127 has passed the Texas State House on Wednesday. This bill takes control over local safety rules, wage protections, and many other things that a local government should be in control of. Again, whatever happened to what Republicans used to believe in, local control and not having some overpowering government over its people. Anyway, Hany Khalil, Executive Director of the Texas Gulf Coast Area Labor Federation of the AFL-CIO and Chair of the New Economy for Workers Houston, is interviewed by KPFT 90.1 FM correspondent Richard Hanna. The audio is not the best, but this is a very important topic. So please bear with the audio and go ahead and listen to the entire piece.
Well, right this second, and I'm talking about 1:40 p.m. on Tuesday, the 18th, the Texas House is debating HB 2127, House Bill 2127. And that bill is a hostile and sweeping power grab by conservative state officials with the intention of blocking our ability to pass local laws and policies that improve the lives of working families. And they're very popular here in Houston. It's an attempt to disenfranchise Houstonians and to limit our basic ability to govern ourselves. That's what's going on in the Texas House right this minute. So there are a bunch of bills that are about the state government taking away power from local governments. And that bill that you're talking about is an important and critical bill. It's a different bill than the one being debated right now. So the one that's being debated right now is would curtail the ability of local cities and counties to pass policies or ordinances that, for instance, regulate workplace safety. Or provide for to make sure that our water and air is safe. That's the kind of bill that's being debated right now, and I can go into details on that.
And even dealing with that, you have a lot of safety rules to go along with the unions in Houston to make the work environment safe. And the state, I know the government is dealing with the environment doesn't like that.
That's exactly right. I mean, for instance, unions and community allies and Democratic elected officials at the city of Houston and Harris County, we have worked together over the last 5 or 6 years to pass a set of policies that really make life better for working families, using the authority that cities and counties have right now to do that. And I'm talking about, for instance, the Houston policy that raises the minimum wage for workers at the airport and on county construction projects to $15 an hour. There are contractor safety protections that Harris County passed in January for the first time that are important. There are apprenticeship utilization requirements. In other words, requirements that a training pipeline is put in place on multifamily housing that the city of Houston is building in the wake of Harvey. So Austin has a law requiring construction workers to get 10 minutes of rest for every 4 hours of work. And that kind of thing is actually saved lives when you're talking about construction workers who may be on roofs installing air conditioning units in 105-degree temperature. The ability to cool off and hydrate and take care for just 10 minutes in the middle of the day is critical to keeping people alive. And all of that kind of local progress will be wiped out, banned by HB 2127. And that's not even including a bunch of other areas. I mean, renters that are protected by very weak local laws from slumlords, that would be limited. Laws that the local government's ability to respond quickly to hurricanes and industrial fires is going to be at risk. Even protections like having carbon monoxide detectors in homes and businesses could be banned under all this. And the reason is what it's doing is it's the HB 2127 will basically say okay, the state has exclusive authority to regulate in a whole bunch of areas: labor, the environment, workplace safety, finance, insurance. And that means that any local ordinance that touches those areas becomes unenforceable. And, if you hear one of the House author named Burroughs talk about it, he basically has a vision of cities as doing very, very little. Minimal public safety, fire, police, and that's about it. That's what he thinks local government should do, even if federal government, agencies like OSHA don't have enough resources to keep people safe. Doesn't matter. Even if Texas doesn't have a state agency to keep people safe or it has not raised the minimum wage above the federal minimum wage, cities cannot play a role there. And I think the issue here is that is deeply unpopular in Houston and Harris County. People actually appreciate that our governments are playing a more active role in these kinds of areas where our state has been so neglectful.
How's this fight how's it going right now as we talk?
Yeah, so I think you're exactly right. It is definitely retaliation because the communities in these cities are voting differently than our Republican state legislators want them to vote. And they're unhappy with that. And they're unhappy that those that are being elected at the local level are trying to actually use local government in a positive way to make the lives of working families better, to make sure that we're building a more equal society, not a more unequal society, to protect people's health and safety from polluted air and water. That they don't want us to do that, and fundamentally, they don't want us to use local government and show what a progressive local government can actually do if given a chance. So they're trying to cut us off at our knees. That's what's actually happening.
If this bill passes, do you have a legal remedy?
No, we don't have a legal remedy. And I'm repeating to you the exact words of Harris County Christian Menifee at a press conference this morning that we convened with Precinct 2 Commissioner Adrian Garcia and others. And what he said is, listen, normally I do encourage us to use a legal route. That's what he does. That he's the county attorney. He sued the Texas government multiple times when he felt that they were acting in an unconstitutional way. But in this case, he says we don't have a lot of legal tools. And so he is absolutely right to have said what we need as Houstonians to do right now is to pick up the phone, find out who their representative is if they don't know, and call them and tell them that you're asking them to vote no on HB 2127. Vote no on HB 27. The time is now. We have got to make sure that our voices are heard because there are not a lot of legal options available to us.
Let me ask you this question also. So if this passes, they're going to go ahead and put all the policies that you have in place. Who will be in control of that? They will control it, or how would that work?
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say that in those areas that I talked about before, like workplace protections, that only the state has the authority to make any law or ordinance related to that, and cities and counties can't touch it. And so they're pushing all the authority. You think about it. We're talking about Harris County, a county of 4.7 million people that is going to basically have a core set of authority stripped away and sent to Austin, where the legislature meets every 2 years for about 6 months. That's what they're going to do to a county of 4.7 million people. So it's a crazy infringement on our right to have a say in how the places we live and work are governed.
And this is an important week, too, because we have a lot of bills that's going on this week and dealing with city versus state. This is one of the, I know of about 5 bills that they're trying to pass this week that's especially the same issue.
That's correct. Exactly. And let me also just talk for a second about where Houstonians are in this. So the coalition that called New Economy for Working Houston, New Houston, just put together a poll and released it today that shows that the policies that have been passed in recent years here in Houston and Harris County are very popular. and that our people, regardless of political identification, believe that they should stay in place. That, and specifically, the survey showed it's about 1,000 likely voters in the 2024 presidential election weighed in, and 70% said this is not a Republican or a Democratic issue, it's a democracy issue. We vote for our local leaders, and they should be able to make policies for us. 70% agreed with that, and 52% strongly agreed with that statement. So, Houstonians want to see local government active in improving the lives of our community, active in protecting tenants from being unfairly kicked out of their homes, active in making our workplaces safe and more just. And they like it when local government actually does that, and they don't want the state government interfering in our business. And that's why we got to make sure that the Texas House does not pass HB 2127 today.
I would like to add also that this party that is supposedly on less government, not more government.
Yeah, there once was a time when Republicans supported local control, local government, and but that was when they controlled it. And then as cities have elected more progressive elected officials, the Republicans have changed their tune, and they're trying to prevent us from being able to use local government authority and instead restrict it, have a very narrow vision what cities and counties should be doing, and keeping all the power up in their hands at the state ledge.
How can people find out about your organization right now? The new organization you're talking about.
Sure. Well, you can find out about the Texas Gulf Coast Area Labor Federation at our website, gcaflcio.org, gcaflcio.org. And that's the Federation of Unions. And we're also, you can find us on Twitter and elsewhere, on Facebook with the same handle, GCAFLCIO. And on Facebook, you can also find New Houston. It's new, newhouston.org.
That was Hany Khalil, Executive Director of the Texas Gulf Coast Area Labor Federation of the AFL-CIO. The bill passed and bars cities and counties from passing regulations and overturn existing ones that go further than state law in a broad swath of areas, including labor, agriculture, natural resources, and finance. Folks, we need to take back control of our government. Thank you very much, Richard. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.